Okay, so today I'm going to be talking to you guys about 5 ways to reconnect with your body. So, the body is obviously super important in general, but it's also the key to connecting what's going on in your head with what's going on in the world. And it's involved in basically every aspect of your life, whether it's your passions, your purpose, the people around you, what you do with your time. It all leads back to what's going on in your head. So the better that you can get at reconnecting your head with your body, the easier it's going to be to deal with things when they come your way. So disconnection is huge, especially when there's so much going on, but it feels like being stuck in your head, finding it hard to express things that you like or things that you don't find enjoyable. You either feel like apathetic or like you lost interest in things, and how you feel and behave is not aligned with the way that you connect or your emotions show up when you're not aware that they were there to begin with. Like you snap at people without realizing you were even irritated, or like you say something and it comes out completely different than the way that you were saying it in your head, things like that. It can also be like finding it difficult to pinpoint your emotions and your feelings. And if someone asks how you are, you might just snap and just say, I'm fine, out of reflex. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on internally that you can make progress with through working externally. So but first it takes like learning why this stuff happens to you and where it's coming from. So a few things that cause this survival response is trauma that you've experienced that threaten your experiences, and it leads to sensitivity in your physical and emotional feelings. So disconnection from physical and emotional experiences, it's an automatic response coming from your subconscious, and it's designed to protect you from feelings that are difficult to contain. A complicated relationship with your body can also cause this, especially if it's due to like an illness or a stigma that you've experienced, or just different body injuries actually can pop up later on without even expecting it or realizing that you're still holding on to that. It can also come from never learning or even being given the space to tune into your body and feelings as a child. So maybe your feelings were ignored, or they were rushed, or they weren't validated, or when you experience different situations like difficult stuff or stressful stuff, you disconnect from emotions and feelings. It's a coping technique that's like avoidant. So over time, all of these like strategies and just ways of dealing with things that neglect actually going through them causes disconnection with your brain and your body. So the 5 ways to reconnect with your body is going to be number 1, jumping in a cold shower or cold water in general, because the cold exposure, it sends your body into a shock and it activates the mammalian driving reflex. So basically like your instinct, your barbaric instinct. So like when your face is submerged, it decreases the sympathetic activation and increases parasympathetic activation, meaning that it kind of sends your body to a shock and gets you out of the mindset and back into your body. So it's a quick way to reconnect with your body. So like ice baths, things like that. And it activates the electrical nerve impulses that extend from the brain to the nervous system. So it kind of gives you a heightened sense of awareness in your body. So this is really good if like you're just going through so much and then you just can't get out of your head and you've tried other techniques, just jump in the shower really quick. And the other thing too is that connecting with water and letting it wash off is also like a spiritual cleanse too. So it'll take some of the weight off of the things that are going on. And it'll also help you reconnect with your body and get out of your head. Second thing is going to be to find balance. So I talk about this a lot, but yoga is very, very beneficial because balance activities build body awareness and they allow you to consciously connect with your body. And body awareness also includes like internal clues, like recognizing hunger, fatigue, and thirst, things like this. And so you're able to recognize that faster when you're more connected with your balance, because it sort of strengthens that neuro like connection with the brain. So by building like body awareness, you're connecting your body and mind as one. One second. As one, and you're allowing optimal physiological and psychological functioning. So it's kind of boosting your strength. Yeah, and it builds self-awareness. So activities like balancing on one foot, walking backwards, one foot in front of the other, like a tightrope, or just yoga in general, even Tai Chi is going to help with that. And over time, just like meditating over time, how it kind of clears your head for the rest of the day. Same with yoga. It's going to make your senses stronger for the rest of the day. And you're going to be able to recognize the things that you need from the signals that your body's sending you, like being hungry, being thirsty, needing a break, stuff like that. The third thing is going to be holding your breath. So breath work is super important, but it's like voluntarily holding your breath for short periods of time. It increases your mental power. It improves your lung capacity, and it manages your stress and anxiety. Because like the activity I did on my call last week or a week before, you can notice like your body changes based off your breathing. And when you're going through something stressful, your breathing speeds up and people hyperventilate. But like, for instance, a lot of people drown in water that is completely okay because they panic in the water. And so it helps to realize that like people drown in a foot of water because they're panicking. But if you're able to bring yourself back and breathe and be calm, you can find a rational way to get through things, sort of like being the eye of the storm instead of being wrapped up in it. So breath work is super important. I recommend like 30 seconds or so, but obviously you want to start slower, and because it can be dangerous unless you're trained in breath work or you've been doing it for a while. So try like 10 seconds first and then 30, see how far you can go, but you don't want to strain yourself, because if you're holding your breath for too long, you're just going to make the symptoms worse because you're going to be like needing to breathe even faster. So you can practice breath work by a lot of different ways, but breath holding would be like to start off with, like a basic generic way to do it is to take a few deep breaths while you're sitting upright, and then slowly close your mouth and cover your nostrils and use one finger to count, to hold your breath. So like count with one hand and count to 30 or any number that you're comfortable with, and stay relaxed. And the goal of this while you're breathing obviously is to keep track of your breath and keep focus on that, but to notice and observe your mind and your body as you're holding your breath. And then if you feel like you need to, or you're gasping for air, don't hold it any longer. But when you reach 30 seconds or your number, release your fingers and breathe normally. So this not only gives you a chance to breathe and regulate your nervous system, but it also gives you 30 seconds to really dissect what's going on and where you're feeling it. And like use all of that energy to sort of gather it together. And then when you breathe out, just release it. But it helps a lot to reconnect with your body through breath work. That's just one way to do it. So the fourth way to reconnect with your body is by progressive muscle relaxation. So it involves tightening and relaxing various muscle groups in your body, including the muscles of your arms, your legs, your shoulders, your chest, your stomach, your back, and your neck. And as you tighten and release the muscles, stay conscious of the sensations that you're experiencing. So that's the main goal here, is to stay conscious of your sensations and focus on what you're feeling in your body, not in your mind. So 3 ways to practice progress muscle relaxation would be like push your shoulders upwards towards your ears and hold this position for around 5 to 10 seconds and then release it. And then consciously like feel the relaxing sensation in your shoulders, in your nape, and your upper back muscles, and repeat that 2 to 3 times. And this will relieve a lot of the stress, especially because the majority of stress from just like mental things, other things we hold in different parts of our bodies, but stress is mainly held in your shoulders and in your gut. So those are the 2 things that you want to practice the most if you're just stressing out in general. But would be pushing your shoulders up and then holding for 10 seconds and then releasing, and being conscious of the way that it feels in your shoulders and in your muscles. And another way to do this is while keeping your head steady raise your eyebrows as high as you can and hold that position for 5 to 10 seconds. And then as you hold, feel the tension in the muscles in your forehead, and then release after a few seconds, and you'll feel the relaxation across your entire forehead. Then repeat it like a couple times, 2 to 3 times. Another way to do this is with your toes and your feet, to curl them downwards. Hold and feel the sensation in your feet and the tension, and then release after a few seconds, and consciously study the way that the relaxing sensation feels like. So get used to like holding any muscle, really. These are just a couple, but hold them tight for a couple seconds and then release them, and focus on the way it feels when you're releasing it. Another way to connect with your body, the fifth way, is to have a dance, basically. So dance around, listen to music. And the good thing, yes, Maya, and the good thing about this too, like the main thing that you have to keep in mind is that you're constantly being programmed, whether you want to or not. Like, you don't decide if you are being programmed, you decide what is programming you. So hold on, just admit them. Okay. So you don't decide what's programming you. You're going to get programmed regardless. And we're adaptation machines. So our brains are built to continuously adapt to what's going on around us. So that's why it's so important to keep in mind of the environment you're in and what you are ingesting. Like, sort of like not only like the words and the podcasts and shows that you're watching, things like that, but the music that you're listening to. Like, what is the music saying, and like what is the vibration that it's on, because we're all vibrating at a certain frequency. So when you listen to like really sad songs, you're going to feel worse, obviously. But if you're listening to things that like pump you up and make you feel good and have like positive tones to it, you're going to feel better about what's going on around you. So choose music that makes you feel good, first off, most importantly. And also, basically, you want to just dance for a while. Like, that's why it's so important to move your body and to shake around. So literally just dance like no one's watching. Like, there's a reason that that's a saying. Just do it and just let your body just relax and just move and let the music kind of consume you, because it's sort of like adding fuel to your fire. So dancing would be like, basically the point is that your nervous system is designed to move, and your emotions are controlled and processed at a more unconscious level than they are cognitively. So as we feel our emotions on a like physiological level, the way we express them is through our thoughts. So like our thoughts and the way that we're feeling is just signals to our brain that are telling us like how, like if something is for us or not. So the way that things make us feel are just signals, and we can choose to accept them or not, but they're coming from your subconscious. The thoughts are just its way of connecting with you in like your reality. So if you think about like what your sympathetic nervous system is trying to do, it's basically trying to move you out of the way of danger. And that's what your emotions come from. They're signals. It's all from a survival instinct. So if you're activated and you stay still, then you're sending feedback that you haven't, like if you activated these emotions, but you're still staying still, you're not doing anything, you're not moving your body like to do something, then you're sending feedback to your brain that since you haven't actually moved yourself to a safe environment or to the next location, then you're flooding your body with adrenaline, with like adrenaline and cortisol and movement that's needed to excel, like to expel these excess amounts of emotions from your system. So instead of like letting them release themselves as they come to you, you're just holding them in, and then they're going to keep recycling in your head, which is why it's super important to move. But dancing really helps a lot. It gets you in the right mindset. That's why people listen to like music right before they go on stage or on calls, even stuff like that, to like pump you up and get in the right like frequency and vibration to be able to go out and give it your best. So connecting with your body and your mind by like putting some music on that gets you moving and just allowing your body to move in whatever way that feels good is going to help a lot to release a lot of stuff. That's why like when people go out when they're not feeling good, they feel so much better afterwards. And it has a lot to do with dancing and moving your body, because it kind of psychs your body into thinking that like we're moving on to the next thing now. And it's like obviously you have to deal with things in your mind and sort of find your way through them, but this is going to be a better way to release it and not hold on to so much of it and be able to sort of clear your head to find space to work through stuff. So those are the 5 ways to reconnect with your body. I'll send it in the chats and the recording will be up later and everything like that. But I did just want to mention too that especially lately, life can be really stressful and that there is a lot going on. But the thing is, like, psychologically, if you're coping with something or you're dealing with something or something in your life changes, that like has an effect on your brain for 48 hours. So say you're going through a breakup or you lost someone or you failed a class, whatever it is, you will deal with that psychologically for 48 hours. That's it. And then from that point on, it's all your own brain just revisiting all of the stuff that you're going through. So it's not that you're like putting yourself back through it, but you're extending it because you're not like, you're sort of just making it worse for yourself by continuing to sit in things for longer than 48 hours. So by letting it out and releasing it, it brings you back to your center and you're able to get through things a lot quicker and with a lot more clarity. So these are the few ways to reconnect with your body. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. All right. Oh.